Is tithing a transaction? The biblical truth. Have you ever wondered what tithing really means in a biblical context? Today, we will unpack the concept of tithing and its significance in stewardship and generosity. Tithing is the practice of giving 1/10 of your income, produce, or possessions to God. The word tithe literally translates to tenth. This practice is rooted in the Old Testament, where it was established as a consistent act of giving. It is important to note that tithing is not primarily a business transaction. Instead, it is a spiritual act of obedience and trust in God as the provider. In the Old Testament, the Israelites were commanded to set aside 1/10 of their agricultural produce or earnings. This was meant to honor God and support the Levites, who were the religious leaders, as well as the poor who had no land or means of support. Tithing reflects stewardship, acknowledging God's ownership over all resources. The tithe itself is considered holy and belongs to God, not a payment for services rendered. The biblical tithe was designed to be consistent across all individuals, regardless of their wealth. This approach helped prevent economic inequality and social tension within the community. Tithing was not a voluntary act but an expected demonstration of faithfulness. The Old Testament warns against withholding tithes, describing it as robbing God, which could lead to consequences. From a Christian perspective, tithing is a foundational principle of stewardship and generosity. It is not a transaction in the commercial sense but a spiritual discipline that reflects trust in God's provision. Tithing supports the work of the church and those in need. While offerings can be voluntary gifts beyond the tithe itself serves as a guideline for consistent giving, honoring God with the first fruits of income. Practically speaking, tithing encourages disciplined giving and helps believers prioritize God in their finances. It is less about a transactional exchange and more about a covenant relationship. Giving becomes an act of worship and reliance on God, rather than merely a payment for services. So, to answer the question, tithing is not a transaction. It is a biblical principle rooted in faithful stewardship, generosity, and honoring God with a portion of what He has entrusted to us.